Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit, and in today's video we're going to share our craziest reselling stories. I'm going to share a story of the craziest thing that ever happened to me as a reseller. Well, it didn't happen to me, I kind of did it to myself. You guys might have heard this story before, and Jamison's got a crazy reselling story as well that led him to a place that he never thought he would ever go to. And my story led me to, well, I thought it was going to be financial ruin. So, do you want to start with your story first?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, before we made the video, we were talking about ideas to make the video, and I'm like, dude, we should share some crazy Amazon stories that have happened to us over our journey, whether it was like in a store, on a road trip, at a hotel, or at an event or a conference or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were kind of brainstorming things like crazy, funny things that have happened to us over the years. And I thought of one of my favorite stories is, I think this was back in 2018, March or so of 2018. I was on a road trip, sourcing trip. I believe this happened in Arizona. I want to say I might have been on the way to ASD in 2018 on the way.
That's a wholesale trade show.
Wholesale trade show, yeah, in Vegas. And I was on a road trip. And I was driving there. I remember it was around maybe midnight or 1 in the morning, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't remember if there was a detour or my GPS brought me on some weird way that like Google Maps has never done. And I'm driving in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like,
1 in the morning.
It's like 1 in the morning, middle of nowhere, like freaking no houses, no other cars, no nothing. And eventually, like, my GPS leads me off the highway to a side road, to gravel road. And then eventually I turn down this one way. I'm following what the GPS says. I get down to a dirt road.
Yeah.
And then it turns more into like a sand road. And then I get into this I come to a dead end. And it's just like all rocks. There's a railroad tracks there, couple trees. But it's like a mini little desert, all sand. And I try to do a U-turn and turn around and go back. And the sand gets so deep, my car gets stuck. And
I haven't heard this story
yet.
It's do you have signal?
No. Oh yeah, and there's no signal.
No.
Yes. Middle of nowhere, and there's no signal.
Are you with anybody?
No, I'm by myself at this point. And so
1 in the morning.
Yep. The first thing I did was I kind of freaked out. But I'm like, oh crap, because it's like I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's like freaking bears or coyotes or dragons out there or
Where
something.
are you again? What state?
I'm in Arizona, middle of nowhere.
I know this would got to be like rattlesnakes.
Yeah, it's like, it's all dark, like nothing. You can't see nothing out there. And I'm in the middle of some sand thing with rocks and trees.
And where are you going?
I think I was on my way to Vegas, or trying to.
On a retail arbitrage.
Yeah, sourcing trip. Yeah. Man. I get out of the car. And I'm like, kind of freaking out at first, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to solve anything by freaking out. So the first thing I thought, I remember when I was a few years ago, I randomly saw a YouTube video. If you ever get stuck in the sand, take your floorboard mats and stick them underneath your tires. And then I'm like, okay, I need something else to get out of here. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I ran around for like 15, 20 minutes in the dark with my phone. I had my phone flashlight.
You don't know what creatures are watching you.
And the funny thing is I had an air horn in the car.
No.
So I was so terrified I was going to get freaking mauled by a bear. So like every minute or 30 seconds I would just like let the horn down just to let the creatures know that there's somebody there. Leave me alone.
They're wondering what type of creature's out here right now.
So I'm picking up all these rocks. And I'm grabbing all these rocks. I'm starting to stuff them under the tires. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done this. I'm just like literally improvising. And then I remember since I was on a cross-country trip, I had a snow scraper and then a big container of snow salt. So I poured all that out under the tires too, and then I started using the salt holder as a shovel to shovel sand, and then I started filling it up with rocks, and I was filling up all the rocks.
Yeah.
Get back in my car, turn on the car, and I'm just like, oh please, Lord Jesus, let this work. And I started to move, and I moved. I turned around, and I got it, and it worked.
Did you leave the floor mats and everything?
No. I got the floor mats. I got the.
Did you let the air horn off again?
Yes, of course. And I got everything. Put the floor mats back in the car, and then I made my way back the exact way I came, and then I finally got the pavement.
Oh gosh, I'm happy you're safe, man. I was hoping that now that you're safe, I know you're safe. I was hoping like you got stuck there and you had to survive the night.
Oh man, It was a very scary experience.
So what's the lesson? Don't go down dirt roads.
Don't listen to Google Maps.
Don't listen to Google. Well, man, that's a great story. I'll share my crazy story now. Is your story done?
Yeah,
Or is there a part two?
No part two.
Do you still have that air horn to this day?
No, I used to.
Oh, that was your good luck. Yeah, that was your good luck air horn. So this was probably 2015, 2016, and I was on my first reseller sourcing trip. It was actually, I believe it was a 30-day trip. I was documenting every single day. I was sourcing, I was doing retail arbitrage, and I was going to thrift stores, and obviously with Amazon FBA, you buy everything, you load it all into your hotel, you get your little cart, bring it in, you box it all up, ship it out. So, I was traveling the country. I'm here in, we're in Florida, but I live in Connecticut, so I was going down the East Coast, and I was going down south, and when I finally got to North Carolina, I think I was on day like 9 or 10, and I was loving it, and I was really excited, and I was in flow state. I was shipping a ton of things. You know how it gets. You start shipping, and you're listening to music. Well, I was in a hotel. I wish I knew what the name of it was, because I truly owe them my life, and all my success. But at the time, I think I just started to learn about Inventory Lab. Yeah. Because prior to that, I was shipping through Amazon, Seller Central. So I was grooving, I was shipping, I was boxing things up. I mean, so whatever. It was a long day. I turned on the shower, and I got I was just waiting for it to warm up for a couple of minutes, and I think I got a phone call, whatever, something ended up happening, and I forgot the shower was on, but it's whatever, because usually it doesn't matter if you leave it on for 20, 30 You don't want to waste water, obviously, but I forgot about it. I'm like, whatever, I'll get in when I get in. And next thing you know, I think I just forgot about it. Yeah. Because I was just flowing, I was going, and I was shipping, and I was starting to box things up. I was getting, I put the box down and I was taping it up, and my feet were up. I had a little prop. I was just hanging out, pricing things, chilling. And when I put my feet down, it was all wet.
Oh my God.
So it was all wet, but by the time my foot actually hit the ground, I felt it, and then I heard ding, ding, the phone was ringing. Because I was up on I think I was on the 5th floor or so. Yeah. I always try to get lower floors, because it's you got to get up the elevator and stuff. So I'm like, what the heck's water? Before I could even think, I just picked up the phone, and they're like, did you leave your shower on? And I don't know, I'm kind of slaughtering the story a little bit, because I panicked, but I didn't have time to run because the phone was ringing. And it just hit me, and I was like, holy crap. I flew in to the bathroom, and no joke, I must have left the thing down. I didn't check. Oh. And it was, not even kidding, it was probably a foot of water.
What?
And it went through the 4th floor, the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor. What? It took out all the ceilings.
Get out of here.
I don't know how it did that. Maybe it went into my room, wrapped around, took out 3 other doors.
What?
Dude, it took out everything. I was panicking, and I wish that I would have got a video of it, but I was I can't let anybody know that I'm this much of an idiot. Yeah. So anyways, I told them I'll check the shower, and I'll come back, because I was freaking out. Yeah. And I looked, and it was that high, so I'm taking towels, and I'm getting it all wet. I'm trying to squeeze it out into that. I'm there's no way that I could there's nothing I can do. So anyways, they came up, and they were freaking out, and I don't know, they had buckets, and they were throwing it in, and anyways, it took out literally 20 rooms, and I'm my life's over. Yeah. I'm done. My whole life's over, and they weren't even that mad at me, which was really odd. Yeah. And they were do you want another room? And I was so ashamed of myself. I said, I'll just stay here. There's 3 huge commercial box fans trying to blow. So I'm sleeping with box fans on. And long story short, the next day I'm done. I'm toast. I can't believe it. They never charged me a single penny. Bro. I don't know if insurance just covered it, but that's my crazy story, man.
Dude, imagine if they
I mean, what would that have cost me? I'm not exaggerating. The only part of the story that's a little mixed up is I felt the wetness, the phone. I don't know if I picked up the phone first or what happened, or maybe I knew and I saw and I freaked out, and then whatever. Yeah. It was a while ago, but yeah, that was what I did, man. And those are 2 little crazy Amazon reselling stories. If you guys have a crazy reselling story, drop a message down below. Let me know. I don't think anyone's a bigger dum-dum than me. That was check the drain, make sure it's pulled up, don't forget, and your lesson is don't listen to Google Maps.
That's right.
If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Jamison. He is on Instagram and Facebook over at what? Jamison Philippi?
Yep, that's it. Jamison
Awesome.
Philippi.
Cool. And yeah, if you guys ever flood a hotel, just drop my name. I got the lucky charm, I guess. And if you ever get lost in the middle of the desert, you learned a couple tips here as well. So with that being said, much love. See you in the next one.